Perfect.
What's up, everyone? This is Bill. Today I got a review and an installation for you. Today what we're looking at here, this is the dynojet quick shifter for Power Commander 5. So if you've been following my Honda Grom build, I have Power Commander 5, wideband 2 with auto tune, and the PV3. So we will be installing this quick shifter, and then as soon as they release one that works solely with the PV3, we'll be putting that one on the bike and comparing the two. So take a look at it. What all you get in the box. And they sent me this as well. This is the part number for it right there. It's just a connecting rod. I do have aftermarket rear sets, so we're going to do a little modifying, but we're going to make it work. I believe we're going to have to cut a little bit of this down. Okay, so there's that rod. Nice aluminum, threaded all the way through. Okay, so that is the little connecting rod that they sent. And then here is the quick shifter. This is 4-130. Power Commander 5, quick sensor, dual contact sensor. So this one will do pushing or pulling, so it will work for a lot of applications. So here's the quick shifter itself. This is the cable that's going to connect up to the Power Commander 5. Okay, so there's some holes where you can stick wires in on Power Commander 5. I'll show you all that. That's where that's going to plug in. Okay, we do have some instruction manual here. And we got a couple dynojet decals as well. So I'm in Vancouver, Washington. If you're local, I have a ton of decals from dynojet to give away. So if you want some, hit me up, let me know. All my contact information is in the link or in the description below the video, as well as where you can purchase this straight from dynojet. Okay, so here's the quick shifter itself. Very heavy duty little guy. Okay, dynojet quick shifter. Superior quick shifter technology. Okay, and I'll get on all the details on how this works. We'll look through everything. I'll show you how it works, how to program it with Power Commander 5. I'll show you all that, so just keep watching the video. Okay, so this does have two sets of wires here. You can use either plug. I believe it did tell you, it has a little diagram in here. Oh yeah. Yeah, so you have the push is the green and blue, and then this yellow and red would be the pull. So you can use either one. Both of them are fit in this little sensor right here, this little plug. So either one will go in here. Okay, so you can use either one. So it'll fit multiple applications, more than just the Honda Grom. Okay, and it does show some installation instructions here. It does say that you don't want to put like a shaft, you don't want this to sit in the middle. So you want one end of this guy to be right up against either the foot pedal switch, so the actual shifter itself, or down under the bike at the actual shifting mechanism on the bike. Okay, so you don't want this to be in the middle and have, you know, a rod in between. Okay, so we'll take a look at the one that's on the bike. We'll get it off the bike, and we'll try to get it set up to install on the bike. Okay, so let's take a look at that one on the bike. Okay, so it's a little dirty. It's winter here, so I haven't really took the time to polish this thing up, but you can see there, that is my shift rod. It's about 6 inches long from end to end here, and it is also female and female at both ends. So we're going to have to do some cutting and some manipulating, but we are going to make it work. So we're going to get this off the bike, and to do so we are going to remove this bolt here and this one right here. Okay, so we're going to get that off the bike. And once we get the other one wired up, we're going to wire it right behind this panel. We'll run it right up here with our with all these other wires that are back here. I believe this is the one coming off of my wideband sensor. So we'll run it right along there and up behind the plastics. Power Commander 5 is under the seat. Okay, so let's get this off the bike and let's see what we can come up with to make this sensor work. So we got the other shifter off of the shifting linkage off of the bike, and here's the dynojet quick shift. So we started out on the bike. We have this piece and this piece right here. Okay, well, the problem with it is, for one, this one ends up being a left-handed piece. Okay, it's left-handed. And we need an adapter, so what Dynojet sent me out is this, which threads onto here just fine. But then we are left with a male fitting back here. So we either find an adapter that adapts the two, but one's going to have to be right hand, one's going to have to be left hand on opposite sides. Or our other option is to cut this off and then tap threads into that end. And then I picked all this stuff up at Park Rose Hardware. Okay, so Park Rose Hardware, there's a tap setup, and then a new joint right there. Then we are only using the one piece in the center. We are not using an adapter or anything like that. We're just going to turn this into a female and female. No big deal. Costs 26 bucks. We'll slide a copper tube into the hole down here. We'll drill it straight through a tap hole, so that way we have a nice straight line. And then we're going to tap this into here. Okay, we'll drill a little pilot hole through there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And then, as you can see, here's what I drew on a piece of paper what the old setup looked like. So we have these dots here. That's where our old setup lined up at. This tapped into there. Right there would be on the money. So that's going to work out perfect. Okay. So make sure that if you are ordering this quick shift setup, email Dynojet, send them pictures, explain to them exactly what you need. If you have, especially if you have aftermarket rear sets like what I have, they do make a shifter setup that works for the factory rear sets which come on the Grom. So make sure you do your research before you order this quick shifter setup from Dynojet. Okay? Make sure you do your research. Make sure you send them emails with everything that you have set up on the bike. They make one for the factory rear set, and it comes with all the right pieces. And then they have this one, which is available. It's kind of universal, but it'll work for your factory or your aftermarket rear sets. But you are going to need some linkage pieces to go with it. Okay, now they sent me this one. Obviously, it's the wrong one. It's not going to work, but that is not their fault. That's due to my rear sets being the way they are. Okay, everything on the Dynojet stuff is right-hand thread, and it goes male to female, and I need a female to female. Okay, so we'll get to cutting this off with a hacksaw. We'll put it in the vise. We'll cut it off with a hacksaw. We'll drill us a pilot hole, and then we'll tap it up. Okay, so we got the linkage all done. So yes, unfortunately, if you have an aftermarket rear set, I mean, there's so many different options out there, I suppose it would be impossible for them to carry every single one and get it right every single time. So you might have to do some modification. So what I did is I took the one from Dynojet and I cut the thread. You see here, I cut the thread off of it. I sanded it down, filed that down flat at that end, and then I drilled and tapped and installed a right-handed thread coupler, or the joint here, into it. So now it's female to female. Okay, and it would have been a problem even if they would have sent me a female to female. The one that I had was left-handed thread. So we would have still had to done something, found something different. So anyway, there's how it looks. Okay, this is how it should look. This will be up in the upward position, up under the motor by the gear shift. So the actual shift lever will be back here, your actual foot lever. And then this is going to be right at the motor. And then this wire comes right up there behind that little case, behind that little cover. Okay, so we're going to install it on the bike. And I'll show you guys how it gets all set up on the bike. And then I will show you how to set it up in the Power Commander software. Okay, don't forget, when you take your linkage off of your rear set, your one that you have on there, make some marks, put something down on paper. So I have all the measurements on paper where everything lined up. I have dots where the holes need to line up at the end. So it's not just a measurement, this is like basically a template showing me exactly where I'm at, and this is on the money. And then that push and pull mechanism is inside here. So as you push it in or pull it, okay, that's what's going to activate the quick shift. And then we'll see what all settings you have in the Power Commander to set it all up. Okay, so let's get her on the bike. Okay, so here is Gromzilla. And we're just going to put this down right here. Okay. And we're trying to keep them right at a 90-degree angle so they're not bad. That is not bad at all. Okay, this one also has a little lock nut to the side here. Okay, nice and tight. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to get this cover off. We're going to tuck this back behind there. Okay, we're going to hide those wires and take this plastic off. Okay, we're going to wire it up. 1 and 2 right here. They're 8mm bolts, and once you get those off, remember this is your chain is, so it's going to be greasy. Okay, but you can see there's a little clip setup right here. So what I did is, this is a bigger wire and it's coated to protect it from heat. So I ran the quick shift wire right here, Okay, and then sandwiched it right in between there. And then it's going to come out behind that guy. So here's my wire up here. It's going to come out behind here and run up behind the plastic. Okay, so we're going to leave it in there like that. We're going to leave us a little bit of slack. Then we'll put this cover back on. You can see this little dip right here and a dip right there. The cover has these little tabs here and here. Okay, so it'll cover it all up nicely. That's how you tuck that wire up there. Make sure you leave yourself slack so it can move around without pulling on anything. Okay, and you can see the mechanism for the quick shift is back here in the middle. You can see there, see it moving. Okay, and then when we do set it up on the power commander, one down would be first gear, and from there we want it to be able to go up into the gears. So down will be pulling, right? That's pulling it. We want to push it. So we are going to use the wires that are for pushing, which I believe is that green and blue wire. Yeah, so the green and blue one is for pushing. So that would mean it's getting pushed inward. And as you shift up into the next gear, so second, third, fourth, it is going to be pushing. So that's where we want it to be the quick shift. Okay, so it will not be quick shift going down. We'll still be using our clutch downshifting. But going up into the next gears, no clutch, wide open throttle, we'll be able to set up the RPM range we want it to be active. Okay, so we'll get it all installed and then I'll show you what it looks like on the Power Commander software. Okay, so I got my wire all ran up through the plastics. Plastics back on, bike's back together. What we're going to do is we'll coil this up once we get it to the length we want. We're going to just zip tie it up down there. Okay, so this is what it looks like if you're using the Power Commander 5. Here's a diagram for you. I will put it on screen here. But the wiring setup, if you go from the plug as being the middle, okay, so you're actually going to be looking at it upside down. Expansion 1, expansion 2, and then on the opposite side of the plug you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so what we're looking at is switch number 1 and switch number 2, and those are used in that screw holes on there for number 1, and number 2 is switch number 1. Number 3 and number 4 is switch number 2. In the Power Commander software, you can switch and say what switch you're using. So you could say you're using switch number 2 or switch number 1 for the quick shift. Okay, and I'll show you how that works. So I'm using switch number 2, and I actually have a toggle switch for it up here on the bike, and I also have another one. I have switch 1 and switch 2 up in the front end of the bike. Okay, and I'm using switch number 2 as my 2-step launch control, and switch number 1 right now turns on and off auto tune. So we are going to disconnect that one in here. So we're looking at switch number 1. Okay, we're going to disconnect that, and we are now going to wire up the quick shift in hole number 1, hole number 2, and then we'll take a look at it on the PowerCore software. Okay, and I'll post that up here right now for you so you can look at that diagram. So basically, what you're looking at, you pull your Power Commander off. On the back side here, you have this little rubber tab. If you're careful with it, it pulls right off. You can see there, it's in my hand. Okay, don't lose that little guy. It takes a real small flathead screwdriver. Okay, now, if we look at our paper here, when we look at this, we are looking at number 1 and 2, which is going to be the 2 holes closest to the center plug, and that is for switch number 1, which is what we want to get to. That's what we're going to use. So we're going to disconnect switch number 1. Okay. Leave it on there. We're going to take this up, get it out of the way. We'll label this So we have a label up here because obviously, as you can see, this bike has a lot of wires on it. Okay, and try to keep it all under the seat and keep it as clean as possible so you can't see nothing from outside the seat. So there we go. We will zip tie this up, tuck it up out of the way. Okay, and then we'll take a look at the Power Commander stuff on the computer. And don't forget your little rubber guy down here. Okay, don't forget about that. Keep that nice and watertight. Okay, Power Commander 5 ready to go. Okay, we'll take a look at the software on the computer. And I'll show you how to set up your quick shift. Okay, so now we're on the laptop. Hopefully the audio is okay. Now we're going to look at the Power Commander settings. So we have our bike on, fuel positions, or kill switch is in the on run position. USB cord is plugged into the laptop and plugged into the USB port on the Power Commander 5. Okay, I'm using the cable that dynojet provided you with. Okay, so you can see this is my map. Okay, this is the map that I'm using for Power Commander 5. Now, obviously, it's going to look a lot different. Don't worry about my map. I'm running Power Commander 5, Wideband 2, and the PV3. So you can see my trims are constantly changing, but they're at a 10% change rate. Okay, so anyway, don't worry about my map. It might look weird to you, but it's all in the testing. There will be videos on it here in the near future. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to Power Commander Tools, and then you're going to go down here to Configure, and then you're going to go to Feature, Enables, and Input Selections. Okay, so you can see how I have it set up. Right now, we have Auto Tune is in the switch input 1. Okay, and then you have Auto Tune is turned on. You can turn that on or off. So this, where it says Auto Tune, just turns Auto Tune on and off. If you have it on a switch, that means you can turn it on and off. And then you can see I have two-step launch control. That is switch number 2. So we are going to uncheck this box that says Auto Tune. And then we are going to come up here to Quick Shifter. We're going to check that box. We're going to go switch it over to being switch 1. We're going to go to Configure. Now, I'm going to leave it how it comes out of the box. But these are milliseconds down here. So it is turning off for 65 milliseconds. Okay? Minimum RPM, you can set that to whatever you want. So once you're above 3,000 RPM, you can use the quick shift. Okay? Shift interval 250, that's the RPM range. You can see I'm at 250. Okay? Mode, is it gear dependent? Well, it says it's gear dependent right now, and we could change all that, or you can set it to being single time, and then all shifts, it is enabled at 65 milliseconds. Okay? So we'll leave it, and there now it detected that there's only the 3 gears going up. So first into second, second into third, third into fourth. Okay, now it detected that because I am running the speed sensor wire down to the speed input coming out of the motor, and I'm also running a temperature wire into it so I can read temperature on the Pod 300, and I have a video on how to set that up. Okay, so yours may not come up knowing what gears the bike has. Mine does because I have that set up. Okay, now you can go here, kill mode. So you can kill fuel and you can kill ignition. And you can kill both. Now, right out of the box, it is set to kill both, which is what we want it to do. Okay. Okay, so You can see here where it says switch style, normally open. Okay, that means an open circuit. That means it is not activated. That means it is a break in the wire. A closed circuit would mean the switch is turned on, and it is a closed circuit, meaning that the switch is working. So, this switch is normally open. Okay, so we're going to leave everything the way it sits. It looks good to me. And remember, we are using the green and blue wire, so we are using the push method. So going down at all is not going to activate the quick shift. So going down into first, not going to activate quick shift. Coming up into second, up into third, up into fourth, quick shift. Down from fourth to third, down from third to second, no quick shift. Okay, just as it states on here. First to second, second to third, third to fourth. Those are the only ways it's going to work. Okay, so we're going to hit OK. So now we have auto tune turned on, launch control on the second switch, quick shifter on the first switch. We're going to hit OK. It's going to apply that to your Power Commander 5. We're going to go over here, send map, send everything back to the Power Commander 5, and we are good to go. So, again, that's Power Commander Tools, Configure, Feature, Enables. Quick shift, put it on whatever switch you're using compared to that wire diagram I showed you. Okay. So there you go. Now we're just going to go test it out and see how it works. So thanks for watching, guys. Check everything down in the bottom in the description below the video. Where to purchase all the items that I've showed you today. And all my contact information. If you got questions, if you need help with maps for Power Commander 5 or PV3, or you need help running the Pod 300, any of the dynojet stuff, I will help you out the best I can. Okay, you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. That helps me out tremendously. That keeps companies like Dynojet sending me products so I can show you guys how to use them. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Okay, guys, so we got everything set up. We have the quick shift on the bike. We can now use no clutch to shift. So what I'm going to do is I have the bike up on the stand. It'll lock down on the stand. The bike's been warmed up. Okay, so remember we're going to use our shifter or clutch to come up to go down into first gear. And then from there we don't go to use clutch. And I'm going to give on the two-step launch control. I'm sure you guys wanted two-step launch control and a quick shift. Okay, so clutch, bike's in first gear, two steps is activated. Okay, from there, I'm just going to take my head off the clutch and show you guys how it all works. Okay, so you're going to hear it get on two steps at 6,600 RPM. And then I'm going to dump the clutch and I'm going to go through the gears. That's two-step all the way through the gears, all the way out to 96 miles an hour. Okay, again. Okay, there you go. So that's Gromzilla. That's what it can do. Two-step launch control, quick shift from Dynojet, Power Commander 5, wideband 2, Pod 300, PV3, dynojet air to fuel ratio gauge, 181cc motor up the Takagawa setup, custom built head from Vinny's Custom Shop, big dual exhaust setup all the way out, and more modifications than I could ever list for you. Anyway, there you go. That's Gromzilla dynojet quick shift. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much. Have a good day.